Hey, what is happening, you floaty using Flapple? Today, we're taking a look at Incandescent Arcana, the new Japanese set that has been fully revealed. And we take a look at all the cards. I'm going to give you my first impressions on each of them, the ones I think will be good or interesting or fun. And let's go ahead, let's get into it. The first one up is Superior VSTAR, 270 HP for Grass Colorless. Its first attack is Royal Tornado, 190 damage, and then you can move all your energy around on all your Pokemon in any way you like. And then it's got that VSTAR power, Coiling Star for a grass, 60 damage times the amount of energy attached to this Pokemon. Energy, not energy card, so this does mean it could work with double turbo energy. Of course, you want to be doing plus 120 for a double turbo because double turbo does reduce the damage you deal by 20, so it'll be doing about 100 damage, or be doing exactly 100 damage, not about. So they're giving us another grass VSTAR Pokemon. Seems a little bit underwhelming, but it does have a pretty efficient attack and combo with double turbo in the Royal Tornado for grass double colorless. So I could see this card being okay, maybe. I'm not sold on it yet for sure or anything like that. It does have free retreat cost, so I could see some kind of deck being played with this where you kind of use Cheryl and you can move your energy to like a bench superior, or kind of just split your energy up, and then your opponent hits one of your superiors, and then you Cheryl, fully heal that one, and then attach to your next one, and then you split your energy up again, so no matter which superior they hit, you can once again attack with either, play Cheryl. But 270 HP, there is stuff in the format that would want to be able to one-hit KO this. You got, Ice Rider, Palkia potentially, depending on how many Pokemon you have to put on your bench and stuff like that. So, not sold on the Superior VSTAR being very good. Unfortunately, we haven't gotten any great Grass VSTARs in a while, or great grass Pokemon in general. Up next, we got the Radiant Serena. You can't have more than one Radiant Pokemon in your deck. Of course, we all know that. And it's got the Elegant Treatment, the ability, once your turn, you may heal 20 damage from each of your Pokemon. So pretty good ability. The Radiant Pokemon, I love what they've done with the Radiant Pokemon in general. They're just all solid. They all have a good ability. It really can help you, make you think, especially with the next two sets coming out, or next set coming out, and then once we finally get these Radiant Pokemon, it'll really make you think about which Radiant Pokemon do you want to include in your deck. And then it's got the attack, Perfume Shot, Grass, Colorless, 9 damage, remove all special conditions from this Pokemon. So the attack's not very good, obviously, but it's all in here for the ability. Once your turn, you may heal 20 damage from each of your Pokemon. Solid ability. Spread decks don't really exist right now, so I don't see it being great, but I could see some kind of healing deck, it being played in some kind of healing deck potentially. Reshiram V, I was pretty disappointed when there was no VSTAR for the Reshiram in this set. The Reshiram V isn't that good, but its first attack is really good if it had a VSTAR to combo with it. For a Fire Energy, Gleaming Wing, search your deck for up to 2 basic energy and attach them to one of your Pokemon in play, then shuffle your deck. If this was an attack on a V that had a viable VSTAR, it would be an extremely strong attack for when you go second. Unfortunately, there is no VSTAR to combo with the Reshiram V yet. I don't think we'll probably get one at this point, but the first attack is really, really good if there was a VSTAR to go with this Reshiram V. Unfortunately, there's not, so it'll probably just be a never played card in the end. Up next, we got the Vulpix V and VMAX, the Vulpix V, 190 HP. For 0 energy. This is the first time I think we've had a 0 energy attack on V or V Maxes. I could be wrong on that. No, I think I am wrong on that, actually. Don't quote me on that. Snow White Drop, 10 damage plus 60 if your opponent's active is a V. And then Water Colorless, 110. The first attack does cause 0 energy. So a nice little attack when you do go second. But the Alolan Vulpix VSTAR, even though there is a nice attack like the Reshiram had to use when you do go second, the VSTAR that the Alolan Vulpix got isn't great. For Water Colorless costs 160. This attack damage isn't affected by any effect on your opponent's active Pokemon. During your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon from a Pokemon with abilities. So decent attack, but only 240 HP, only doing 160 damage. So you probably are 2-hit KOing most things, even if you put a double turbo on here to be able to attack turn 2 with water double turbo. You're still doing 140, which would KO most V Pokemon. You'd struggle with the KOs on the V Maxes, though. Could get a choice spell involved, of course. But only preventing damage from Pokemon with abilities. There's a lot of good Pokemon with abilities, but there's a lot of good Pokemon without abilities as well. And then we have stuff like Path to the Peak that removes abilities from play, meaning you would still be able to attack the Vulpix even if your Pokemon had an ability on it, as long as you had Path to the Peak in play, because it removes the ability from the Pokemon effectively. And then it's got the VSTAR power for 0 energy, 70 damage times the amount of your opponent's Pokemon V, which just isn't very good right now. We've seen cards like this in the past get hyped up a little bit, but never be good, because, to be honest, you don't really, even though it is a V-centered format for a while, besides like Mew VMAX, not that many decks actually put that many V Pokemon in play. Palkia could easily survive with 1 to 2 V Pokemon in play, depending on the situation and so on. So, just not going to happen. There's just not that many V Pokemon in play ever in decks. Up next, we got the Radiant Alakazam. Ability Spoonful of Pain. Once in your turn, you may move 2 damage counters from one of your opponent's Pokemon to another of your opponent's Pokemon. And it's got that Mind Ruler. Psychic Colors, 20 damage times the amount of cards in your opponent's hand. So once again, the attack on the Radiant Pokemon, not great. Greninja, a little bit of an outlier there, I guess, with how good of an attack Greninja has, the Radiant Greninja. So the Radiant Alakazam, the ability, super cool. You move 2 damage counters from one of your opponent's Pokemon to another of your opponent's Pokemon. That can be such a big deal in a lot of decks where you're almost 1-hit KOing something, or you're going for like 2-hit KOs, allows you to move the damage off and then go 1-hit KO something else. I can see this being good in some kind of Arceus deck to kind of set up so Arceus can actually KO and take big knockouts on V Pokemon. So like you hit their active, and I'll hit their active VSTAR for 200 damage, and then they bench a V, and now you can move 20 damage from their active VSTAR, move that to the bench V, then boss that up, and then knock that out with that same Arceus that I theoretically had triple basic energy or a choice belt or something. So it opens up place to kind of allow Arceus to like KO V Pokemon. That's what I've come up so far with this card. Once again, just a really cool ability though, and it stops and makes you think and wonder what you could include it with in as far as the deck go. And that's what the kind of cards that I want to see. All of the Radiant Pokemon have been super sick so far from Pokemon. They've done a great job on the Radiant Pokemon. I'm going to be sad to see them go, but hopefully some kind of can only play one of card comes out that is, you know, that much better than the Radiant Pokemon I've been. But huge fan of the Radiant Pokemon. Definitely going to be sad to see them go once the next block comes around. Up next, we have the Jynx with the ability Selfish Lips. If this Pokemon is knocked out by damage from your opponent's Pokemon V's attack, your opponent doesn't take a prize card. That is a really good ability. Like I said, the current format is centered around V Pokemon for sure, and then it has a good attack as well. It's not just a good ability. It's not going to be some kind of weird stall deck, although you could maybe do some kind of weird stall deck with the Jynx. The ability, side damage, colorless, 10 damage, does 10 more damage, or 10 damage, his attack does 10 more damage for each damage counter on your opponent's active Pokemon. So if you hit a V Pokemon for 150 damage, or even less, 140 damage, Jynx could come up and take the 2-hit KO on that V Pokemon. And then if your opponent only has a V Pokemon available to attack with, and they want to KO your Jynx, they just can't. I could actually even see a deck where it's just 4 Jynx, and you play like quick shooting and Teleons or something to get your damage in play. And you just sit there and you quick shooting and you attack with side damage. It is double colorless energy, so you got the 4 twin energy, but once the double turbo start getting involved, it does reduce the damage you would deal a lot theoretically with a deck like that. But I could see it working. If your opponent's not drawing any prize cards, you'd have to play like Claras or something to like recover your Jynx and just have like an endless chain of Jynx in the active spots. I can see it being cool. I don't know if it's going to be good, but it's an idea. But yeah, Jynx, super good card. I'm sure it'll be played in many different decks potentially, especially decks that are like taking 2-hit KOs. You can do combos where like you set up a knockout, you take a knockout, and also like Roxanne them in the same turn, so it like reduces the chances of to get around your Jynx and stuff. Like, yeah, just Jynx is insanely good. Might be the best card. It's definitely the best card from the set I think so far that I've read off here. It might end up being the best card from the set. Up next, we got the Mawile VSTAR. We got the Mawile V 200 HP, Sullen Slap. For a Psychic, 30 damage with one of heads, discard an energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. So once again, a solid attack on the V of a V-Star. You love to see those. I really think that's like not a big deal, but it's something cool to have on your Pokemon, like some kind of useful attack on your Pokemon. Something that gets used at some point in games potentially. And then Bite Off, 100 damage, colors. Discard a random card from your opponent's hand. Not going to be utilized as much, but still another cool attack on the Mawile. Then we got the V-Star, which is a little bit underwhelming for colorless, 260 HP, by the way. Sudden Eater, 90 damage. This Pokemon was moved from your bench to the active spot this turn. You do 90 more damage, so 180. Just for 2 colorless. 180, could use it with a double turbo energy, of course. So we're looking at double turbo, 180, 160, 2-hit KO, pretty much everything in the format. And then you've got the V-Star Power, Star Rondo. During your turn, if this Pokemon is on your bench, you may use this ability. Switch this Pokemon with your active Pokemon, and then switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with their active Pokemon. So effectively, a cross switcher in an ability form, or a Guzma, if you're a little bit more old school, in ability form here on the Mawile. We got Boss's Orders, we got cross switches in the far. A little bit of a mediocre V-Star power, to be honest, overall. It can be cool to combo with some like late game plays with like Roxanne and stuff, but usually you're going to have to be dealing with your opponent's active Pokemon, which is their main attacker, so you can't really be affording, going and gusting their bench Pokemon, but I'm sure there's situations where it could come up. But only doing, like I said, effectively 160 damage with the attack is really what probably holds this card back. No one-hit KO potential, And it is an efficient attack, right? Just a double turbo to get off the attack, which is nice. So I could see some kind of deck where you just kind of switch between your Mawiles and hit being decent. Maybe we'll have to wait and see. Once again, could maybe combo something with like Share with this because the attack is so efficient. But you only have 4 double turbos, so you have to figure that out somehow. Up next, you got the Jirachi, which definitely falls into the category of fun/meme potential with the ability Pass a Wish. If this Pokemon is knocked out by damage from an opponent's attack, search your deck for up to 3 cards and put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. Stellar Doom, double colors, flip 2 coins. If both are heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is now knocked out. So we saw a deck come up recently and be a good meme deck, which is the Cleavor Glimwood Tangle deck. And Cleavor has the exact same attack for 2 colorless energy, flip 2 coins. If both are heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is now knocked out. Your opponent's active Pokemon is knocked out, which is, not that bad. With Glimwood Tangle involved, you'll get there eventually. And you can combo this deck with Slowbro, so you only have to have this happen and draw 4 prize cards. Once you've drawn 4 prize cards, that you're good to go. You don't have to draw any more prize cards. Then Slowbro just kind of takes over, can potentially take over the game from there. And it's got the ability. This ability is super cool. If this Pokemon is knocked out by damage from an opponent's attack, search your deck for up to 3 cards and put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. And specifically, the reason this is really cool is because Jirachi has 90 HP, which means it can be rescue carriered back. So if your opponent knocks out your Jirachi, you get to use this ability and search your deck for up to 3 cards, and you can go get Rescue Carrier, another energy for your next attack, and then 1 random card. And then you Rescue Carrier the Jirachi back in play, put the Twin or Double Turbo on it again, whatever that other card is, get that other card as well. Why not? Let's get the 3rd card, whatever you need for this situation. And then you're attacking again with the Stellar Doom. So the Jirachi deck is super cool, to be honest, and might be better than I'm giving it credit for, but I think it currently falls into that meme / fun category. But that's a pretty good combo with just the card in itself. Its own ability basically resets itself to attack again, which is pretty insane. So definitely excited to try the Jirachi out when it does come out. It's a little ways away, but going to be a good time no matter what. We got the Klinklang Stage 2 Pokemon. It does have a pretty powerful ability, so I thought I'd mention it, but I think the limitations of it being a Stage 2 Pokemon will definitely hold it back, and I don't think you could have put this ability on like a Stage 1 Pokemon or anything like that. So it's just one of those things where it's like, it's on a Stage 2, Stage 2 suck. The ability is really good, though. Triple Gear, when you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, during your turn, you may search your deck for up to 3 basic energy cards and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like. So, potentially super powerful to make some kind of box-type deck, or just to set up one really big Pokemon with a bunch of energy, whatever. Ability's really good. It's on a Stage 2, though. I think that'll be its main limiting factor and won't be very good overall. Gonna mention the Zamazenta as well here. It's got the Metal Shield ability. If this Pokemon has any energy attached to it, it takes 30 less damage from attacks. Metal Colorless, when you only have 130 HP, not going to be a huge impact there. Metal Colorless, though, 100 damage plus. If any of your Pokemon were knocked out during your opponent's last turn, this attack does 120 more damage. So doing 220 there is a pretty reasonable number. So I actually kind of like the Zamazenta. That's like a pretty reasonable number to be hitting with the Zamazenta. I don't know if it'll be good enough, but this is definitely a card that I thought I would mention. It's as far as it seems like it has some potential, even if just a little bit. On to the Ho-Oh V, really cool card. Could definitely do something with this card for sure, I think. So it's got the ability Rebirth Flames. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is in your discard pile, you may put this card onto your bench. If you do, attach up to 4 basic energy cards from your discard pile to this Pokemon. Here's the catch, though. If you use this ability, your turn ends. All right, and then it's got the attack. Before I talk a little bit more about the ability, let's talk about the attack. Colorless, 100 damage, plus 30 more for each type of basic energy attached to this Pokemon. So if you use the ability, plus you attach on the next turn, you could be doing 250 damage. That's not really that great, right? You're not want to KO anything. Then your bird gets knocked out, and you kind of lose the game. So I think the way you could potentially utilize the Ho-Oh V is you build a deck around your turn 1 being accelerating a bunch of energy into the discard pile alongside the Ho-Oh V, and then you play 4 energy switch and a bunch of different attackers to combo with the energy you put onto the Ho-Oh through its ability, and then you can energy switch the energy off Ho-Oh throughout a game as kind of your energy acceleration to other attackers, which we've seen in the past with previous Ho-Oh EX. Could be coming back with the Ho-Oh V. It's still a lot of work on that first turn to get this in the discard pile with ideally 2 or 3 energy at the very least, ideally 4. A lot of work you have to do on your first turn. Not sure if this one is actually going to be able to make that work competitively, but that's the idea I have so far with this card. Of course, you could do something else where you Thornton this card, the Ho-Oh, into something else on the next turn as well. That is an option as well. Thornton would be a card to combo with it, so we could see that being viable. Got the energy switch reprint. We got the capture aroma flip coin. If heads, search your deck for an evolution Pokemon, reveal it, put it into your hand. If tails, search your deck for a basic Pokemon, reveal it, put it in your hand. If you search your deck in this way, shuffle your deck. So, not a terrible Pokemon search card, to be honest. You are guaranteed to find a Pokemon of some kind. You're just not guaranteed to find the one you think you might want for the situation. So there's definitely quite a big drawback to playing this card. But it's still, I mean, you don't have to discard anything to use it, which is kind of cool. Switch reprint, we got the Emergency Jelly tool card at the end of your turn of this Pokemon. If the Pokemon this card is attached to has 30 HP or less remaining and has any damage counters on it, heal 120 damage from that Pokemon, then discard this card. The Emergency Jelly heal card, interesting. I hadn't read this one actually previously. Interesting card. Could see it being played maybe in something like Stonejourner or something like that. Definitely see it being played in that. Serena, choose one, discard up to 3 cards from your hand. You must discard at least one, then draw until you have 5 cards in your hand, or switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon V specifically with their active. So it's like a double effect supporter. A lot of these in the past have been good, stuff like Tate and Liza. So I think this is definitely a solid card. I don't think it's like the next great best thing. It's not as the next best thing since Boss's Orders or whatever. So it's still a solid card, but not too ridiculously strong. I have no idea how to pronounce whatever this word is. So search your deck for a basic Pokemon and put it onto your bench, then shuffle your deck. You may switch that Pokemon with your active Pokemon. No. Wallace, draw 3 cards. Your opponent may draw a card. If you do, draw 1 more card. Once again, Pokemon really struggling or really not wanting to give us just a straight up draw 4 card. Really making us work if we ever want to draw 4 cards raw off a draw supporter. So Wallace probably won't be great because your opponent probably just won't draw the card very often, and you'll only be drawing 3 for your Wallace. But I could see some All right, Double Turbo Energy reprint, and then V-Guard Energy. Super excited for the V-Guard Energy. Super strong energy here. The Pokemon this card attached to takes 30 less damage from attacks from your opponent's Pokemon V, so specifically Pokemon V. And you can't apply the effect of V-Guard Energy more than once on a Pokemon. So you can't play 4 of these and put them all on a Pokemon. When I first read this, I was like, oh, you can put 4 of them on everything. And then I read this this part right here. I was like, okay, you can't do that. But it could still be considered and played as like a 1 of or 2 of in decks like Stonejourner to just increase the amount or increase the damage, reduce the damage that a Pokemon would take. And actually specifically, I think this card will be very, very good in Mewtwo V Union because it would reduce the damage that the Mewtwo V Union would take and make it easier to deal with certain situations. So if Mewtwo V Union is still potentially a viable deck when this card releases, I definitely see this being included in Mewtwo V Union for sure. Probably as like a 2 of, maybe a 1 of. I don't know. I'm not from the future yet, so we'll figure it out when we get there. And that's going to do it for my thoughts on Incandescent Arcana, the new Japanese set releasing. I believe it might be already released over there. I actually don't know. Maybe soon. This is the full set list, though, from the set that they will be getting, as far as I know, unless I just heard wrong. But that's going to do it for me. Hope you guys have a good one. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like, leave a comment, subscribe, all the fun stuff, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.